what has gotten me through everything is as soon as I changed my perspective, the world around me changed.
Hmm.
Whether something bad, something negative, or something positive, and something happens to me, the way that I perceive it and the way I look at it is everything.
I'm Flindt Andersen, founder of Pain, Parents and Addicts in Need. I've been in recovery since 2001, and there isn't much I don't know about recovery. And my mission is to constantly tell the truth about addiction, to make the realities of addiction, recovery, and drug culture known, and to drive awareness and advocate change that ultimately saves lives.
And I'm Jason LaChance, a certified recovery coach with a passion for speaking with others and sharing their knowledge to help others seek recovery and maintain long-term sobriety. And this is the Don't Hide the Scars podcast, presented by Pain, Parents and Addicts in Need. Welcoming to Don't Hide the Scars, our good friend here, Mr. Tim Lodgen, looking good. Thanks for joining the founder of Pain, Mr. Flindt Andersen. If you've never met him before, he's this handsome gentleman to my right.
Old, not handsome, just old now.
And myself, Jason LaChance on Don't Hide the Scars. What's up, Timmy?
What's up, Tim?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Blessed, man. Blessed.
Yeah, no, I am so honored to be back. Not only that, but this last couple months has been absolutely crazy in my life.
Yeah.
In a good way, though.
Yes. You know how when you're going through certain things in life, you can't really see the end result, but then when the end result comes, you realize that everything happening's for you and not to you. And
Yeah.
it's the way that everything always seems to play out for me is no matter what happens, it seems like something's following me or something's got me where I need to be.
I love that. And the reason why I'm kind of hesitating a little bit here is that when I see I'm kind of preparing you guys because like what I call early on in early recovery is kind of that 1 to 5 year mark, right? Where things are rolling along really good. And again, this is not about relapse. It's not about anything. It's about life coming back and kicking us in the teeth. All right. A few times, because it does. Right. It as good as things get, at least now I can sit there and go, okay, yeah, I just had my teeth kicked in today, but guess what? I didn't use over it. I didn't go off on somebody. I didn't lose my shit, right. And now I can handle it, I guess is what I'm trying to say here, because I love to hear guys that are saying, hey, everything's going good. Everything's great, blah, blah. But man, it's going to come at some point and it's going to hit us in the teeth.
This last year, which is my 3 year in sobriety, I just celebrated 3 years on March 5th. So I got 3 years
Right.
and 3 months. But 2.5 years in of my sobriety was the worst time of my entire life.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't pick up over it.
Right.
And if Flindt, if Jason didn't uh, tell you what happened, I'll tell you, because what I need people to understand is like what you just said. Life is going to happen. It doesn't give a shit if you're sober or if you're using. Things are going to happen in life because life happens on life's terms. But
Right.
it is how you react to the situations that defines you and build your character.
Yeah.
So June of this year, which actually I'm a year away, because it was June 17th, today's June 12th. I found out that all three of my daughters and my sister were molested by my brother.
Oh, Jesus.
And 4 days after that, I found out my cousin, who I grew up with as a big brother, was found dead of a massive heart attack after suffering with mental illness and addiction for 38 years.
Oh, jeez.
And 4 days after that, I found out that my wife of 28 years has been having multiple affairs on me all during my sobriety. I drove to the liquor store and I sat in the parking lot and I cried and I screamed and I asked my higher power, why is this happening to me? Because, I've been in all these podcasts. I travel and I speak to veterans and first responders. I've been in magazines. I do all this really cool stuff. I work full time in a mental health and treatment facility where I hopefully inspire people not to pick up again. Why is this happening to me? And the only answer I got was, because you wouldn't have been able to handle this in your addiction.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
I was able to logically make the right choice to start my vehicle and leave the liquor store without throwing away my sobriety. Because at the end of the day, what happened to my children still happened. My cousin still passed away, and my wife still cheated on me. How dare I throw away my sobriety over other people's actions?
Correct.
Mhm.
Correct.
And I think it goes back to that saying of, the sick man has one problem, the healthy man has 1,000. Because in our addiction, the three of us, that's all that was our problem. That was it. But when the veil starts to lift, and between year 2 and year 3, that's been some tough for me too. I know Flint's been there. Flint, Tim, you and I have texted, and I'm glad you did. Again, that sense of community. I know that I got some texts from you during that time, but I know that there was people
Yes,
closer to you that you connected with and that had been through the too and really helped you through that time. And I think that's the thing that we encourage, and Flindt, I know you do, just you got to give it time, and you got to keep doing the next right thing, because that opportunities are coming. And even though this stuff seems like and it is, but that's how fertile stuff grows. And that's what I'm seeing with
absolutely.
you in life and for anyone.
Right.
What has gotten me through everything is as soon as I changed my perspective, the world around me changed.
Mhm.
So whether something bad, something negative, or something positive and something happens to me, the way that I perceive it and the way I look at it is everything. So I could go outside and there'd be a flat tire on my car. When I used to drink and drug, that was the end of the world. Screw this. I'm going to go get high and go drink. Well, I go out now, there's a flat tire. Yeah, it sucks, but I'm calling somebody and getting it fixed. And that's just it. And
Right.
that's not going to bring me down to a level where it's a catastrophe and the whole world's going to burn down around me. It is what it is.
Right. Right.
Well, I also think that's an age thing too. I mean, if I walk outside, and I got a flat tire, it's like, oh, okay, and it's like, okay, well, let's see, is there a coffee place around? I mean, I'll figure something else out. It's like, great, I don't have to go anywhere
Right.
now, right?
Yeah, right.
But it's also this. It's even 24 years in. I've had things happen over the last couple of years. That I've sat there and gone, really? I'm still going through some of this crap. After all this time. And again, it's not God doing anything to me. All right. You think because I'm dense as they come that I would continue to realize that this is just life. It's just life. I can't do a damn thing about it. I cannot do a damn thing about it. But like you said, guys, we don't have to pick up. We don't have to drink. We don't have to hit somebody. We don't have to go balls to the wall, into depression anymore about stuff like this. Hey, you pick it up and you move on, because here's the deal. We've already been to hell. What else is somebody going to do to us?
100%. And I speak to clients all day long, and they come in with this perspective of the black cloud following them. And what I reiterate to them is there is no black cloud following you. Okay. It's your perception of a black cloud following you. You're not being punished.
Right.
You're being educated.
Right.
So learn the lesson and grow from it, because the lessons are never going to stop coming.
Well, and it's that removal of ego, and people always think of ego as like being the cock of the walk, walking in the room, all these women want me. No, that perception of there's a black cloud and it's always looming over me. That's an ego too. That's a narcissistic trip. Like, really? So if you think that God plants black clouds, you're the one. Oh, you're the one. It's good to meet you.
By the way, I'm the only one. Damn it!
You're chosen. Yeah, you've been chosen.
Right. Right. I'm the chosen one with the black cloud, you know.
I mean,
Right.
you know, Moses got to do the Ten Commandments. Noah got to build an ark of Jesus. I mean, goodness gracious, none of them want that. But yeah, you're the black cloud one.
Right.
You know, okay.
Oh, that's funny stuff. But see, but it's also good to laugh about it.
Yeah, we have to, right?
Have to
Honestly, what are the other options?
go running into the
Eh.
night screaming. Okay, I mean,
I'm done with all that.
yeah, it's not worth it.
I'm done with it. 27 years of it has mentally, spiritually, and physically like just worn me out. I just don't want to live that way, that mindset, that physical anxiety and panic all the time. That old sick and tired. I got sick and tired of being that way. It's true. Like I don't want to live my life like that.
New Perceptions North, the premier drug and alcohol treatment and recovery center in Central California. A full continuum of medically supervised top quality care with programs for detox and patient residential treatment with dual diagnosis, intensive outpatient treatment, sober living support groups, and more. New Perceptions North provides adult men and women with the highest caliber of professional health care, treating each client with compassion and respect in a safe, comfortable environment to begin the process of recovery to proudly create and sustain a life without addiction. Call 559-978-1507 or visit newperceptionsnorth.com. Tim, recently one of the things that Flindt and I were talking about, and I went, "Ooh, we need to talk to Lodgen about this," was there's a lot of misconceptions and perceptions about co-occurring disorders. And I know you've spoken openly about your mental health struggles in addition to addiction. So if you wouldn't mind touching on that, maybe just to help educate people further.
I have been diagnosed with bipolar manic 1, manic depression, bipolar 1, anxiety, panic attacks. I do have that. But much of that was increased by my drug and alcohol use.
Yes.
How much of that was intensified by my drug and alcohol use? Yeah, okay, I got some chemical imbalances in there, but could they have been managed better if I wasn't in active addiction? And I'm going to tell you that the answer is 100% correct. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I still have my manic episodes. I've had them in my sobriety, but I recognize them, I acknowledge them, and I'm able to talk myself away from them. Where before in my addiction, I would run with it. And I would tell myself, man, this is awesome. You know, I'm going to go 4 days straight. I'm going to build a goddamn deck on the back of my house and be done by Friday. And I would get it done and I would feel really accomplished. Eat or sleep for 4 days, and then I'd be crashed on the couch for 2 to 3 days, and then depressed, and the chemical imbalance was so out of whack, it was unmanageable. And then I would get in that cycle of, there's something really wrong with me, so I better use drugs and drink more because I don't want to be that person. And I've been cursed with a disease of mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
People with mental illness and addiction, I believe, are some of the strongest individuals I have ever met on this planet. We go through more adversity than quote unquote a normal person could ever understand or ever maybe even want to understand. I'm proud to be who I am. Sometimes it has actually helped me through situations.
Yes.
You know, my up here going 100 miles an hour has helped me excel in sports.
Sure.
It's helped me excel sometimes in carpentry because I got the job done. My depression has taken me so low where I've tried to commit suicide.
Right.
Now at 3 years and 3 months of sobriety, I still have them up and downs, but they're more like this. They're not this. And they're less frequent instead of expanded over a week or 2 week, length. I have been fortunate enough to not have to take or even feel the need to take any of my bipolar medicine in 1 year.
Wow. Nice.
I meditate. I read. I do breath work, which I used to think was bull. It actually works.
Right.
It actually works if you actually take time to do some breath work and decompress and get yourself back to square one. There's a lot of these things that I thought were just some mumbo jumbo that somebody put on YouTube or wrote a book about, but our human connection to the mind and the body and the spiritual kind of thing in this universe is real. And if you tap into it, you can kind of walk and talk your way out of certain situations where before your, I wouldn't say mental illness, your mental adversity would take you into a place where other words, you would be doomed.
Right.
I also think my mental illness was also spiked from my time in the military as well.
Sure.
Extreme stress under pressure, life and death situation is a not normal situation for a human to be in constantly. Over long periods of time is not normal. I mean, we all have that instinct of life or death, fight or flight, but to be in there in an overexposed period of time really does some work on your mental health and your well-being.
Sure.
That takes a lot for somebody to come back, and unfortunately, some of us don't make it back from that, and they can never recover from it.
Right? Yeah. We've seen that all too often, for sure.
Yeah, we do. And with men and women in the military, I mean, that's just so huge. It is so enormously huge. It's even huge in the medical field. I would never compare when I worked as a paramedic to Iran or Afghanistan or those kinds of places. But when you're in those situations, in fact, I was listening to something today, driving back from LA. And it was all about being conditioned to certain things. Somebody was talking about the fact of injuries and how this one guy was he has seen so many injuries. That's like his wife cut his head at one point, and he goes, "Oh, that's no big deal." Now he said blood's pouring out of her head, but to him it was just nothing. Okay, to her she's going, "Oh my God, my head," but to him it was nothing. So we get conditioned to things. Right. And then later on down the road, it's like, now I'm wondering why I'm acting like an asshole. Does that make any sense? I mean, I don't know. I just, what you're saying, Tim, is so spot on. What I'm really glad to hear is that it's been a year since you've taken your meds.
Yes. 1 year.
Wow. I think that is amazing.
I feel it sometimes, but the fact that I'm aware of it, the fact that I know what to look out for and how to combat my thoughts and or feelings about it is huge.
Yeah,
it's that awareness that I believe helps me to understand my disease a little bit better. Where before I didn't really know what was going, I would just go with it.
Right.
So perfect example. I wanted a motorcycle. I went and bought one. For a month, I was on Marketplace for 2 hours a day looking for a next one. I got taxes back. I went and bought a second one. Still on Marketplace looking for a third one. Why? Why? I can't ride all three at the same time.
Right. Right.
you know? So I was talking to myself because I do that sometimes. Not, I just don't answer myself, but I was like, what am I doing? Like, seriously, what am I doing? I need to sell one. So I ended up selling one and paying a bill that was necessary to pay that I was putting off because I was saving money to buy a third one. Like it just didn't make sense, no logical sense. And then I'm like, my house is getting ready to sell. I'm coming up on my 3-year anniversary. I'm turning 48. That would be a hell of a 3-year sobriety, 48-year-old, birthday gift to myself. So I held off and I kind of talked my way back to it. Now, there was an incident where I had both of those bikes and I talked a guy into trading me his Harley for them.
Mm.
And I went and got a trailer. I loaded the bikes up. I was getting ready to head out to a 4.5 hour ride all the way up into New York. And I caught myself. I hadn't eaten in 6 hours. Um, I was looking at the bikes on the trailer and I was like, what in the hell am I doing? Like, I'm really getting ready to go get in my truck for 4.5 hours and go drive and do this. Like, what am I actually doing? And I remember sitting down and I called a friend of mine who has been an extremely huge inspiration to me these past 4 months. And she's actually a substance abuse addiction counselor and mental health counselor. And she said, do you realize what you're doing? I said, yeah, I think I'm in a manic mode. She says, you think? She's like, take a step back.
Yep.
Take a step back and look at what you're doing, and is it worth it? And I said, no, it's not. She said, you already have your answer because you called me to ask me what I thought.
Yeah.
You just needed somebody else to bring it to your attention and say it outside of your thoughts.
Right.
So she was able to talk me away from that. I took the bikes off the trailer, called the guy and said, I can't do it, man. Something came up. I'm not coming. But for a good eight hours, I was going. Like I couldn't stop. Like I'm getting the bike. You're not telling me anything else. I'm going. I'm getting it. And then something was like, what the hell am I doing?
Right.
So today is funny because at the treatment center, we were talking about addiction and how we can also, when we stop our addiction, we have cross addiction. Sorry, couldn't think of it. How we get cross addicted to things.
Mm-hmm.
And I look back on my first 1.5 years of sobriety. I completely consumed myself with the gym and getting on stage and looking like a perfect human being.
Sure.
Which is fine. It gave me, it gave me discipline and it put me in really good shape. But again, I took it too far, like I always do. There wasn't a 50, it was 100 miles an hour, 7 days a week for almost 2 years. And for what?
Yeah, for me, it reminds me of my, I think Flindt knows this, but early on in my recovery, when one of my first sponsors was like, you loved building Legos, you're going to do that again. And then I was filling up bookshelves full of them. I was just like, oh my God, I don't have 2 Lego sets in the house. And I calculated it not that long ago. I'm like, I probably spent like 8-9 grand on Legos. I mean, the expensive, especially the kits I build. It's like, what the hell? It's Legos.
Wow.
But I do, so I'm good about it now. I maybe get 1 a quarter at most. So,
Yeah.
but
I know. I think
Okay.
we've all gone down that road, you know, of especially early on. My God, I was always in a hurry to do something and to do as much of it as I possibly could because I didn't want to take that chance of going back to using, so I just didn't know how to balance myself in those early days. That's the key. I didn't know how to balance. Today, I still am not the best at it, but I am getting better at and I think again it has a lot to do with age, has a lot to do with the fact that I'm at that point now where sometimes okay, it's not the end of the world if I don't do this today. you know, and again, who's going to do something to me? Nobody.
Yeah.
Right. So now it's just kind of
Yeah.
part of my routine. Yeah.
Well, and I think as long as you're not, look, if early on these are the things that people attach to keep sober. Like, really, is it that bad? You went to the
Right.
gym, I built
Right.
Legos, you played golf
Right.
every day or whatever. It's like, no, I mean, if it's not taking away from your home life and your responsibilities, at least it's something that you can sink yourself into, that hopefully you're doing in addition to your program, or your program's first, and that's a secondary thing,
Sure.
you know, and all the other responsibilities are there. I think it's quite normal to go through that, you know, because early sobriety, we're fucking bored, man.
That's for sure.
Yeah. But you know what? You just said something that was extremely interesting to me.
Hey,
As long as it's not taken away from your home life,
Yep.
we should be able to do it, correct? Isn't that what we tell ourselves in our addiction as well, though?
Oh,
good
yeah.
point.
Well,
Good
if I'm
point.
going to work and paying my bills, and it's not taken away from my home life, then I can shoot this heroin, I can smoke this crack, you know, because
Right.
I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
It's still the mentality of addiction.
It
Where-
is.
Whether it is a positive or a negative action, it's we still have that disease of addiction in some sort of way.
You know, the way I describe this would be this. So early on or later on, anytime during your recovery, if I'm spending too much time on a golf course, for example, right, and I'm playing golf, let's say 5 days a week, right? No matter how my wife looks at it, she's going to look at it as that I'm having an affair with the golf course. You're having an affair, Tim, with your motorcycle. You're having an affair with, seriously, because to women, a lot of times it's
Yeah.
we're not spending the time with them. We're not spending the time with our family. That's as bad as having an affair sometimes. Now it's not as bad just because of of what it truly is. But when you leave our families alone and you leave our wives and our girlfriends and our significant others alone, what the hell do you think we're doing to them? We're doing the same thing. We're just not high.
True. Our actions are still the same. Our
Yep.
mannerisms, our thought process.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, and how many times do our significant others, I'm just going to say this as an example, you need to make more money. Well, to make more money, you either need a better job or you need to work more hours. And then you work more hours, and then you get told, you're working too much, you don't have time for me.
Right. Right.
It's like, what do you want? You want the nice car, or you want to lay on the couch and watch Netflix? Because you can't have both at some point.
Exactly.
But
It'd be nice, but
yeah,
It'd be nice.
I know. I'm not in the kind of business where anybody wants to watch me on the internet lay around or do anything. You know what I mean? But I think that's the interesting thing that we start to understand is those dichotomies, those things that come up, like you said, that well, I'd like you to earn more money, but I'd like you to be around more. And and it takes the time to really look at, like, what do we value? What do we value? Like, I'm not gonna hit the gym, go to the golf course, or build a set of Legos over the time with my kids or my partner, or going to celebrate recovery to talk to some of the newcomers or the people that have been there forever, whatever it is. So I think I think we learn to prioritize finally is what it is.
Sure.
yeah, it's that balance. Balance is key.
It is.
It's hard to balance sometimes, but it is absolutely necessary for calm existence. But it does get hard sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not easy. None of it's easy, but it's sure as shit all worth it.
Yeah. That it is.
What I tell myself is as long as I don't pick up, it's all going to work out in the end.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All this stuff is manageable. Life is manageable. Prosperity is possible and life is manageable.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool because you know, this last, I'm going to say 6 weeks has really, really been hard on me, emotionally.
Sure.
Even though I knew my marriage was over, even though I knew the damage was too deep to be repaired. I've been with my wife for 28 years. You
Man.
know, I'm 48. I was 20. So I've been with her longer than I had. And we had 3 children. And because of those 3 children, I have 2 little grandsons. So losing that piece of my life was extremely hard, but it was necessary to allow me to be open to what is coming my way. Because without that pain and discomfort, I would not have been able to appreciate and have gratitude for what has been happening to me the last 3, 4 weeks.
Mm.
It put everything into perspective. Whatever you believe in out there, you may not want it. Yeah, it is. Now, and you may not want to go through it, but it's needed.
Flindt, anything else you want to lend here?
Tim, when are you headed out to California, buddy?
You know what? I was just talking about that today. I made a good bit of money on that house, and I think I'm shooting for August of this year.
Fantastic.
I'm
Perfect.
serious. I haven't been I haven't been on a vacation in 4 years. I would like to take a nice week vacation and come out to the West Coast.
My God, let's do it. Let's meet up with Tim and Dan and some other guys down in Southern California. You know, Jason and I can come down from Fresno, meet you guys there and spend a few days. I think that would be great.
Oh, that would be amazing. You know, I've only been out there one time, and that was 2 years ago to speak at the Veteran and First Responder Affair. And I've been wanting to go back since, but you know, life has other plans sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna keep in touch and definitely, you know, let us know. And hey, maybe there's some good we can do for and with the recovery community while you're out here, or we'll just go see Mickey Mouse. I don't know.
That's right. We'll figure out something, buddy. But let's do it. That sounds great.
Yeah, I'm 100% down for that. You know, if we can have some vacation time and have some good time, but we can also reach some people together.
You bet.
Absolutely.
You bet.
You got anything else you want to throw out there, Tim, before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I just wanted to, you know, I want to tell you that no matter what you're going through in life, no matter how hard things get, just know that you're always right where you need to be. Don't lose hope. Don't give up. And always understand in the end, things will eventually work out in the best way for you.
Yep. That's it. Tim, thanks,
Mr. Andersen.
Thanks, bud. It's always great seeing you. I don't see you enough. Proud of what you're doing. Proud of how you're getting through all this stuff, man. And like I said, I hope I get to see you this summer. That would be something special for us.
Absolutely. You know, and I will say one more thing. Next month, you will see me on Amazon Prime and Netflix.
Oh, great.
I just got done filming a TV show called Repurposed.
Oh, wow.
It is about addicts who have repurposed their life into becoming advocates for mental health and addiction.
Awesome.
Very good.
Well,
Love it.
We'll definitely put that in the description so people can make sure to check that out, man. And that's really cool. I was wondering why you were in front of TV cameras the other day. I was like,
that's right. I saw that too.
What's going on, you know?
Exactly.
The first season's already out. It's got Spike Cohen, Brandon Novak, Ryan Fletcher from the Philadelphia Phillies, and then one of the guitar players from Black Crowes. And I was fortunate enough to be asked to come on for season 2.
Right on.
Fantastic.
Love you, brother. Thank you so very much.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, please call PAIN, Parents and Addicts in Need, at 559-579-1551, or visit us online at painnonprofit.org. Follow us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Pain Nonprofit. And please subscribe to the Don't Hide the Scars podcast and share with others wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. And if you would like to donate to PAIN, Parents and Addicts in Need, please click the link in the description to make your tax-deductible donation today and help us save more lives gripped by addiction.